Hey guys, you're listening to the Inspirational Power Hour. Now listen guys, we have a very special guest talking with us today. This guy is one of the most energetic and innovative people in gospel music, and I'm super excited to talk to him today. He's talking about brand new music, a new single entitled Step in the Name, none other than our brother Bryan Popin. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, doing incredible. Thank you so much for your time.
Man, listen, I really, really love this new song, Step in the Name. Listen, tell us all about this song.
Well, this song, I mean, it started with me just needing some feel-good music to feel right. I mean, you know, sometimes we get off track and our insecurities or what people say about us, you know, just bring us down. So I just needed something with a beat and something I could pump up in my car and feel good. But ultimately, when I started writing the song to me, you know, just I kept hearing step in the name, and God knew my heart. My whole life, I grew up in New York, New Jersey. I've been around culture. I, you know, was raised around Latinos and African Americans, and that whole, you know, city of New York is just a melting pot of people. And I never saw color, I never saw race, you know, but you're taught it and you experience it, of course. And but I've also always been like the white boy at churches, and it just is what it is. I love soul music. I love you know, the grit, and I love the real and the honesty in not just gospel music, but R&B music and soul music. So for me, this had to be Step in the Name. And when I say Step in the Name, I mean like not just, you know, dance and give God something, like move something. I mean like step in faith, step in unity, you know, grab a hand, love somebody, smile, tell somebody that might not look like you, act like you, think like you, you know, that you like the way they look, you like their hair. Just open up a conversation and be what we're called to be, which is Christians that love people.
And you know, I absolutely love the fact, just as you said, this song, guys, I'm telling you, it makes you feel good. Listen, I think as Christians, we need more music like that. You know, we will always have our testimony songs. We will always have our songs telling about our story and the things that we go through. But we also need to be able to just express our joy and our love that we have from Jesus Christ. So listen, we need to be able to do that more often.
Is there something wrong with that? I mean, God gave me an emotion, so I might as well feel something, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, guys, we're going to take a listen to this great new single in just a little bit, Step in the Name. Bryan, but I'm really, really interested to know, you talked about your culture and your upbringing and those things that influenced you musically, but how do you approach music? I mean, what's your, how do you approach the music, the lyrics, whether it's writing or producing, what's your approach to music?
You know, all the songs that I've like sat down to write never really are that good to me. Like they just feel processed or mechanical, and it's just not from the heart. And I've had so many writing sessions. I mean, for years before I moved from New Jersey to Nashville, I mean, I just did years and years of writing, and I didn't really like any of it. And I wonder why, like, nobody else did. But, you know, to me, most of the songs that have connected with people have been songs that were birthed through pain, hurt, process, rejection, insecurities, and God just birthed either if it was a prophetic theme or message to me, like I can make it, even though I was about to claim bankruptcy, you know, just, or even like Step in the Name. You know, I was going through a lot of stuff where people were saying, you know, there's no way you could do this. You know, just a lot of negativity. And so it's always birthed from something like that, which is like real life, real issues, and then it becomes a theme song for people outside of the, you know, my little box and my little world. So I would just say, you know, anything that comes from the heart and anything that you're passionate about, you need to do and you need to run with, because God will use that, and He definitely has with my music.
And Bryan, you know, I remember the last time that you and I spoke, you shared your testimony. It's such a powerful and amazing testimony. So for anybody that may not be familiar with your story, can you share a little of that with our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, I always say I didn't have a testimony, but I was 17, 18 years old at that time, and I didn't really know who I was or what I was. You know, I knew I was called to music because I was prayed over when I was 11 years old, and I couldn't play piano unless I had music in front of me, and I was going down the route to be a classically trained, like, Steinway artist. But then God, you know, intervened in my life, and you know, I say at that point I kind of got some heart and soul. But I had to go through experiences in life for God to break me and mold me and, me find my place. And, I literally, after almost 20 years of being in full-time ministry, of traveling to small churches all around the country and just like existing, I was about to throw in the towel and claim bankruptcy, and my marriage was not doing well. I wasn't putting my marriage first. It was like fourth on the list. Just a lot of stuff was just absolutely consuming me. And, people in those situations, as you know, I mean, you either like run away from God and blame God and get bitter and mad, or you run to Him and draw closer and you break and you get down on your knees. And I'm thankful that I've always done that, kind of like David, because I know I can't do anything without God. I mean, I just, I don't want to write a song. I don't want to deliver a song. I don't want to do anything without Him going first, because I just feel like I just won't win and I'll die. So through all that process, songs were birthed, but, God also got me out of all those situations. So it wasn't like just poof magic. I had to get my knees on the ground. I had to pray like I've never prayed before. I had to, run after Him. I had to worship and learn what true worship was rather than just a performance. And, it came from the heart. I had to reprioritize my marriage, put that first and work that out. And so, I got out was birth because I just was so thankful that God gave me the grace to see all these things and to work it all out. And then He blessed me and worked it all out on my behalf.
Guys, we are talking to none other than Bryan Popin about his latest single, Step in the Name. Bryan, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Man, you always have something going on.
Yeah, and hey, all your listeners, check out the new video, Step in the Name. It's got over 1 million views in like 3 weeks, so a lot of people are behind it, supporting it. I mean, there's, all that. You've seen it, right? You've seen the video?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there's all these really cool people that I look up to and I'm just honored to have in it, like Jonathan McReynolds, love him, Kaylin Carr, David Mann, Mr. Brown, and Devon Franklin, Megan Good, all these people are in this video. So I'm really, really thankful that we're all coming together, stepping together for a good, just stepping in the name of Jesus, but bringing some people together that might not be in this genre and showing some positive and light.
So, Bryan, give everybody all of your social media info so they can keep up with you online.
Okay, so if you go to the website, everything's there. It's bryanpopin.com, BRYANPOPIN.com. But Instagram and also Twitter is Bryan Popin, so BRYANPOPIN. And then Facebook's the only different one, is Bryan Popin Music. So BRY and then POPIN.
All right, Bryan, we're about to take a listen to the single. And listen, why don't you set this up? Introduce it to our listeners.
All right, cool. Well, hey, we're about to get it popping right now with my brand new one. It's a little feel-good music. So pump it up a little bit, move something, do something. And this is it right here. It's called Step in the Name. I'm Bryan Popin. Let's get it.